So I was hesitant to record this to begin with, just because it deals with some pretty heavy subject matter, but over the course of today, I've kind of, I wouldn't say a revelation per se, but more like lightning finally struck. To give kind of a backstory for those that don't watch my videos, or the interludes for that matter, I often talk about how I'm not a fan of talking about myself for a myriad of reasons. The basics that I don't want to bring people down, particularly if they're going through something, because a lot of people, well, they don't talk about themselves when they're going through stuff for one reason or the next, whether it be the same case as me or others. But I mean, and other times I've often talked about either being given unsolicited advice or flipping the tables back onto the person I'm talking to, or things such as that. And kind of today, hello, nope, don't want any of that, I'm looking for a whip. And I guess today, it kind of just hit home that it's not just, you know, we're going to get that back. It's not just people being people. It's something that I fought pretty hard against wanting to admit, for not the sake of just defending those people that, you know, I hold, or held, I guess for that matter, it dear to me, because it definitely runs a lot deeper than just, well, we're not communicating on the same wavelength for two different personalities, this, that, the other. There's a lot more to that. And obviously, I don't have a background in psychology or psychotherapy, but I read quite a bit, and I understand a few things to the point that I think it's safe to say that a lot of what I've had to deal with over the years is a form of gaslighting. Now, for those of y'all who don't know what gaslighting is, it is a form of emotional and psychological abuse, usually based upon manipulating the abusee into basically not, I don't want to say brainwashing per se, because that's not really the case, but more so, I don't want to go there now, do I? But more so, that's an extreme case, but in the case I'm talking about, into getting what the abuser wants, and that is control. And that's what it comes down to, is manipulating. Now, the term gaslight comes from a 1944 British play called The Gaslight. Now, what that is hello, crowbar, armor, HEV, it, nice. Where, I haven't seen the play, but from what I do understand, it's where a person, the abusee, was beginning to doubt themselves more and more, and as a kind of a shedding light on it, no pun intended, the gas lights in the house were turned off more and more and more to kind of make this person question what is going on. And that is the tactic that the abuser hopes to do. Now, once again, I don't have a background in psychology. Everything that I've done has been based upon reading and studying. Now, if you permit me to kind of read, for those that aren't familiar with kind of the warning signs of a gaslighting, I'm going to be reading to you quickly from an article from Psychology Today. Now, according to this article that was written by Stephanie Sarkis, dated a couple years ago, it's a tactic in which person or entity, in order to gain more power, makes a victim question their reality. Now, while that does sound kind of like an extreme case and scenario, it's true, but reality could be their own reality, doubting themselves. And some of the warning signs and symptoms would be they deny that they've ever said something even though you have proof. They use something near and dear to you as ammunition. They wear you down over time. That is a key point I want to illustrate. Their actions don't match their words. They throw in positive reinforcement to confuse you. They know confusion weakens people, and they project. Now, there are a ton of other warning signs, because each person is different, and those that have fallen victim to gaslighting, or those that maybe even have gaslit themselves. I'm not going to be, you know, naming names. Okay. It still is one of those things that has to be addressed, because in my case, I don't think that the people that have done these things to me overtly understand what they do. I mean, there's other things too, such as, yeah, 30 plus kills, no hit, booyah. Other things that, such as, downplaying things. That's a, well, there goes my first hit of the day. Hello. Downplaying how somebody feels. There's a big one right there too. Different emotional forms of abuse, such as the way of jokes, even though they know somebody's sensitive. Playing on that negative feeling or that sense of not weakness per se, but more along the lines of feeling open and defenseless to achieve their own ends. That's key. And it's just something that's come to me like lightning in a bottle, I guess you could say. I know I say that quite frequently, but, well, give me a moment. Let's get through the passage, and I will continue my exposition dump. Of course not. Hey, you know what? Let's take a look. I don't do these very often, but we do. What is this? That'd be a lot of souls. I can use a whip right about now, but you know what? Well, I don't even use these very much. We'll do the throwing knife. Nope, we don't. What is this? Oh, return? Okay, hang on. That's going to help me quite a bit. Let's see. Restock, recycling. Random melee. That could be good. You know what? Let's go ahead and pump these in. And now we're back. And once again, I'm not trying to downplay this, and I'm not trying to paint myself as some kind of a victim or like a martyr or something like that. It's because each person is different, and I've held onto this for a... Oh god, there's rats. That is the new enemy for me. Because each person is different, and some people don't even know. It could be oblique, it could be subtle. But it doesn't change the fact that when somebody feels that they personally are being treated in a negative fashion, you need to say something. Now, I know a lot of times it'll be downplayed, being like, oh, well, it's building you up, it's making you stronger. People don't, in some cases, not everybody wants to feel stronger as a result of this. Some people, oh god, it's a scorpion. People want to feel safe. People want to grow. People want to learn on their own time, and sometimes it's not the time. And when the person trying to instill that on somebody else, whether it be in a business or personal capacity, they employ such tactics to get what they want. Because at the end of the day, as humans, we want to be in control. We want to feel 100% in control. It's like, to take it to another example, to another lead, it's like if you were pulled over for, say, drunk driving. Oh god, what is this? It's an elite, I think. Kill enemies nearby first. Okay, what is going on here? So, what the hell? An ice shield? Not so much. It's often said when somebody's pulled over for drunk driving, they reach for breath mints. And I think the reason for that is because if your breath's fresh and, you feel in control, maybe you're just not exactly drunk per se. Who knows? I mean, I know that's kind of like pitting apples against atom bombs, but, I mean, the sentiment is there. And if you convince somebody through maybe less than wholesome causes, maybe you could say, maybe they'll learn a lesson. But it's not the case where it's like, a broken car, beat it till it starts working again. I mean, people have emotions, and sometimes you gotta relinquish control. And it's tough for me to admit this just because I think it's safe to say I've been dealing with this for the majority, well, not the majority, but for a sizable chunk of my life. Because for various reasons I'm not going to divulge. Oh god, we have an elite. Oh, this is going to be bad news. Stumbled upon an elite in the middle of my... Let's go ahead and just teleport down here and deal with this guy. There we go. Golden amulet. Yeah, I'll take that. Anyway, I mean, and I strongly encourage y'all to do your own research because once again, everything I'm reading is based upon me taking health down from falling. But there comes a point when you hit the rock bottom and you have to... Hello, blood sword. Hang on one second. That's 181. Yeah, we're definitely getting this. Thank you, doctor. What? What is going on here? Hang on. Launches a grenade. Forget it. Takes self-damage. I should have looked at that. I mean, because what it comes down to, brass tacks, is it is a form of manipulation. For one reason or the next. And I think with a lot of people, when they go through this, they, in turn, they project it onto somebody else. Projection, that's another thing from one of the warning signs, is projecting somebody's own thoughts, imprinting, for the benefit of their own. And I think when somebody is being gaslit, they have a tendency to do it to somebody else because it's transitive. If A equals B and B equals C, then A, by all means, A should equal C, right? Well, no, it's a little bit different to that. I thought there would have been a vine there. Anyway. And I've seen people that have been undergoing massive forms of gaslighting. In turn, they gaslight on other people. Once again, I'm not going to name any names because that wouldn't be my place. Let's just say I know them on a personal and a professional capacity that have done that for their own benefit, and it is wrong. It's extremely wrong. And I guess the point with I'm trying to say this is trying to kind of open people's eyes to it, that is what I'm looking for. Give Daddy that electric whip. That sounded disgusting. I apologize. Here. Get back up here and finish exploring. Anything else? Looks to be so. Just another teleporter. Alright. Hang on. Minotaur scroll. Did I miss that? Apparently so. Yes, we did. Anyways, so the point of all this is to look for the signs, whether you are at the receiving end or you are at the giving end. And I think it's so important that we realize the situation at hand. Because if we don't do it, then either we are going to carry this transitive thing forward, or we are going to keep rolling over and let ourselves fall victim to this. And it could be a point where you don't even know what you're doing. Or you know what, excuse me, let me rephrase that. Where you don't even know the other person's doing. Because as I said, that is a big factor of gaslighting, is confusing people or wearing you down over time. Almost like a Clockwork Orange fashion. There we go. What is this? Saves one time you die. Okay, cool. A lot of new things in this DLC. And we're back. And I think that's just the biggest thing is you can't lie down and take it. Because if you do, this wearing down process will continue to build, and pretty soon, if you let that happen, you're either going to carry on this transitive thing onto somebody else who doesn't deserve it, or worse things are going to happen. And this is where the personal side of things come in, is that I think that's a big reason why it's so hard for me to talk about myself to other people without them asking, because I'm afraid of what may happen because of previous experiences. Oh, great. We have the mages. Not good. Oh, good. I've got an elite, too. That's lovely. But he did already, so I'll take it. Give me that. Pyrotechnics, eh? No, I can't. There we go. Go ahead and just do the plus. I need the bow. It is necessary in later levels, I promise y'all that. Don't need that. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and just pick that up. Anyways, what I was getting at. It has to be brought to light, because like I said, in my case, it's why I've become more of an introvert over the years as opposed to my usual jovial self. And I've often thought about maybe it's because I am an ambivert, which means I can go from being an extrovert to an introvert. Yes, that is an actual term. Or maybe it's just because one thing or even some people portray me as being selfish for not, voicing things or being quiet or just keeping to myself. And you know what? That's another form of it. Is sometimes people need time to process, and if somebody is not in the best shape when somebody goes down that avenue, it's only going to be worse, and it's going to create a chain reaction where either that person, it's either they're going to give in and they're going to become even worse and worse and worse, or they are going to react in such a way that it's going to be damaging to them and the people around them. And it goes back to that concept of being safe. Yes, we all want to be strong individuals. We all want to be in control. We all want to be where we want in our lives. But sometimes that's not the case. But we have to work at it. It's like a line from... Oh, what was the episode? It was from the episode of Supernatural. I think it was called Hammer of the Gods, when Richard Spade Jr. is like, but they try. They try and they work. Okay, there's another thing I didn't think I'd see. Hello. Anyway, let's kill this guy first. Drop you. Take that. And maybe I'm not making sense. Maybe I'm just rambling, as most of these interludes generally tend to be, just straight up rambling and exposition dump. But if anything that I have said makes sense, like electrocuting water, I like that, then I encourage y'all to look at other websites, to look at resources. And I'm not trying to cause a panic rev or anything like that, because, once again, each person is different. Each person has different situations that they're in. But sometimes, like in my case, I've been denying it for quite a while, or kind of the ostrich mentality, if I don't see it, it isn't there. But eventually it is going to come to light, and it will come to the surface, and it's better to nip it in the bud before it gets worse, before it becomes damaging. And this I'm not dramatizing or anything like that, because anybody who's known me for any period of time knows that, I put myself through quite a bit. Most people at the Funkhouse know that. Interesting. Is this going to be another elite battle? I don't like this. Or that just takes me straight to the boss. This might be a good place to stop then. Anyways, so just to kind of sum things up. No, we're not done yet. Hang on. To sum things up, I'll have links in the description below to where I found the article, where in resources in America and in Europe, because once again, I think that's where the majority of the Funkhouse is that watch my videos, so you can get more information. But this has been extremely tough for me to do it. Oh, and one other thing I do want to tack on before we do wrap this up is that's another form of, gaslighting in a sense, is overly dramatic, because you're feeding into a person's emotions and making them discount who they are for your own benefit. And that goes back to the transitive phase, is that if somebody is, you're not getting what you want, you're going to Machiavellian it because in people's minds the ends justify the means. Or do it by any means possible, and that's not the case. The ends don't justify the means if you're putting somebody else at risk to get your own means. And the only thing I can ever say goes back to what I say constantly, and that is talk to somebody. And talking means listening, not just offering unsolicited advice, not just saying what you think they need to hear, but asking them, listening. And if they don't have the answer, or more importantly, the answer you don't want to hear, or they have the answer you don't want, that shouldn't change the fact. I mean, come on, the word listen has the exact same letters as the word silent. Do we drop here? No, we do not. I'm going to go back to the end of the level back over here, and then we will do the closeout. If I can find the end of the level. That's the store. Because at the end of the day, it's not just a message about control. It's about controlling somebody else for what you want. And that is not what we as humans are supposed to do. Do we want to be in control of our own life? Yes. Do we want to encourage other people? Yes. We want to help people grow? Yes. Do we want to hurt people? No. Cool. Test that out next interlude. Health flask. Okay, yeah, we definitely need to do this. I should have done that to begin with, but, you know, whatever. Sod it. Anyway, I'm going to close this one out because I've talked enough about this. So what it comes down to is talk to somebody. If you feel like you're at risk or you feel like somebody else is at risk, check the link in the description below. Once again, at least to the article that describes this in more detail than I can do in my not so eloquent voice. Listen to somebody. And more importantly, positively reinforce them, affirm them, and encourage them to put a quash on this, to put a stop to it before it gets worse. Because if it gets worse, it's going to head down a rabbit hole that you do not want to see, that you do not want to experience. And if you feel like by chance you're going to be starting down this transitive path, stop. Check yourself. Just do whatever you can in your power to prevent this from going any further. Because if it gets worse, you don't want to know. You really don't. And I've had to think long and hard before I even recorded this, and if you couldn't tell by my voice, I am not ready to even think about this. But sometimes when your back's to the wall, you got to get out of it. And I'm hoping for myself on a personal note, this is going to be a springboard to kind of put it in perspective and maybe even start to explain it in my own words to the people that I'm having to deal with. Because it hurts. Hurts like a son of a bitch. That's for a damn fact. And once again, I don't have a background in this, but from my own experiences, it's what I know. It's what I dealt with for a very long time. And finally having this revelation, it'll make things tangible. Maybe if something's tangible, as it is for me, it makes it easier to work with or work against. But that's just my take. And let me know what you guys think. So, as always, I hope you guys have a very good evening. And don't stop believing in yourselves because I believe in y'all.